The offseason around Los Angeles feels anything but quiet. And as the calendar keeps moving closer to the start of another Major League Baseball season, the sense of urgency around the Dodgers continues to grow. Spring training is right around the corner, with pitchers and catchers preparing to report in just a matter of weeks. And that always brings a sharp focus to unfinished business across the roster. Even with most of the core already in place, this is the stretch of the winter where front offices make final evaluations, reassess depth, and decide whether certain names still fit the bigger picture for the year ahead. The Dodgers enter this phase carrying the confidence of a team that knows it is built to contend, but also with the awareness that small adjustments can make the difference between a strong season and a championship run. Closing out games was an issue at times last year, and the front office clearly prioritized stability late in games by strengthening the bullpen. That move alone changes the entire dynamic of tight matchups and gives the coaching staff far more flexibility when protecting narrow leads. When a team already has elite talent throughout the lineup, those marginal improvements often end up being the most important ones. Even so, the roster is not frozen in place. Trade conversations continue to circulate around several players, especially as the Dodgers evaluate their balance between offense, defense, and long-term flexibility. The outfield remains one of the biggest talking points, not because it lacks talent, but because of how the pieces fit together over a full season. Health, consistency, and defensive reliability all come into play, and that naturally leads to questions about which players are truly untouchable and which ones could be moved if the right opportunity presents itself. One name that has been connected to trade speculation more than once is Teoscar Hernandez, and his situation perfectly captures the complexity of these decisions. From an offensive standpoint, his value is clear. Power is something that cannot be taught easily, and he brings it every time he steps into the box. Even in a season disrupted by injuries, he still drove in nearly 90 runs and cleared the fence more than 20 times. Those are not empty numbers, and they reflect a hitter who can change a game with one swing, especially in high-pressure moments. At the same time, his overall offensive profile is not flawless. His ability to get on base consistently has been questioned, and there were stretches where timing and approach seemed off. Still, when looking deeper at the underlying traits, there is plenty for the Dodgers to work with. His barrel rate, hard contact, and bat speed remain strong, and those are indicators that production can rebound with better health and rhythm. For a team that already has multiple disciplined hitters at the top of the lineup, having a power bat that pitchers fear late in games carries real strategic value. Defense is where the conversation becomes more complicated. In the outfield, range, reads, and arm strength all matter, especially in a spacious home ballpark where extra bases can quickly turn into runs. Hernandez has had moments where his defense looks solid, but there have also been lapses that make the coaching staff think carefully about alignment and late-inning substitutions. That uncertainty is a big reason why his name keeps surfacing in trade rumors, particularly when fans imagine alternative outfield combinations that might offer more consistency with the glove. However, context matters. The Dodgers have not made sweeping changes to their outfield depth, and that reality limits how aggressive they can be with potential trades. Moving a proven major league bat without a clear replacement would create more questions than answers. As things stand, keeping Hernandez provides stability, especially early in the season, while younger players continue to develop and the team evaluates its options from a position of strength rather than desperation. On the other end of the spectrum, there are players whose path to regular playing time looks far less clear, and that often makes them more realistic trade candidates. Dalton Rushing is one of those cases where talent and opportunity are not lining up smoothly. He has shown promise, but the Dodgers already have established stars at the positions he is most comfortable playing. Catcher and first base are locked down, and while versatility is always valued, it is not easy to carve out a meaningful role when at-bats are limited and expectations remain high. Development at the major league level demands consistency. Young hitters need repetition, the chance to adjust, and the freedom to work through struggles without constantly looking over their shoulder. In a crowded roster, that environment is difficult to create. Asking a developing player to function as a multipurpose option while still refining his approach at the plate can slow progress rather than accelerate it. That reality forces the Dodgers to ask a hard question about whether Rushing's future is best served in their system or somewhere else where the path to everyday playing time is clearer. These decisions are never purely about individual talent. They are about timing, roster construction, and maximizing value. Trading a player too late can diminish returns, while moving someone too early carries the risk of watching them thrive elsewhere. The Dodgers have consistently shown a willingness to be proactive rather than reactive, and that philosophy is likely guiding their current discussions as the final weeks before spring training tick away. As all of this unfolds, the overarching theme remains the same. The Dodgers are not rebuilding or retooling in any dramatic sense. They are fine-tuning a roster that already has championship expectations, weighing short-term needs against long-term flexibility, and trying to ensure that every roster spot contributes meaningfully over the course of a long season. The names being discussed now reflect that careful balance, and the decisions made in this window will shape how the team looks when the games begin to matter once again. As the conversation shifts beyond the more obvious names, the Dodgers also have to evaluate players whose value may not jump off the stat sheet, but still plays an important role over the grind of full season. One of those players is Ha-Seong Kim, a name that sparked mixed reactions when he first arrived and continues to generate debate about how he truly fits into the long-term vision of the roster. His first stretch in a Dodgers uniform was not flawless, and expectations were probably unrealistic from the start, but there were enough flashes to suggest he brings something useful to the table. Kim's offensive profile is not built around overwhelming power, and that is something fans quickly notice. What he does offer is contact, balance, and the ability to put the ball in play with consistency. A batting average hovering around the high 200s shows that he can hold his own against major league pitching, even if he is not driving the ball into the seats on a regular basis. More importantly, his approach does not look overmatched, which is often the biggest hurdle for players transitioning into a new role or a new environment. Defensively, Kim adds flexibility that managers value more than ever in today's game. He has shown that he can handle multiple positions without the game speeding up on him, whether that is in the middle infield or shifting out into the outfield when needed. The kind of versatility becomes especially important over a long season filled with minor injuries, rest days, and matchup-based lineups. While he may not be penciled in as an everyday starter, he fills gaps without weakening the overall structure of the defense. There was a brief moment where trade speculation around Kim gained some traction, largely because of the perception that he had not fully lived up to early expectations. That view ignores the reality of his role. He was never meant to carry the lineup or anchor the infield on his own. Instead, he provides depth, energy, and reliable defense, all while holding his own offensively. For a team with championship aspirations, having players who can step in seamlessly when called upon is often the difference between surviving adversity and watching momentum slip away. Because of that, moving Kim would not necessarily make the roster better in the short term. Replacing his versatility would require either multiple players or a very specific trade target, and those are not always available at the right price. Keeping him allows the Dodgers to maintain flexibility without forcing younger prospects into situations they may not yet be ready to handle. In that sense, his value is felt most when things do not go according to plan, which is exactly why teams like the Dodgers place such a premium on players like him. Another intriguing name in these discussions is Alex Freeland, a player whose situation highlights the fine line between potential and production. Freeland entered the organization with a strong reputation, particularly for his defensive ability, and there is no question that his glove stands out. At the major league level, though, offense has been the challenge. Limited opportunities have resulted in a batting average well below what is expected, and while small sample sizes can be misleading, they still influence how teams make decisions. The issue for Freeland is not simply about numbers. It is about trust. At the highest level, managers need to feel confident that a player can contribute without becoming a liability, especially in tight games where one at-bat or one defensive play can change everything. Freeland's contact skills have raised questions, and when combined with uncertainty about his role as a switch hitter, it complicates his path to regular playing time. For the Dodgers, the dilemma is familiar. Do they continue to invest time in development at the major league level, knowing that mistakes will come with it, or do they capitalize on his prospect value while it still holds weight across the league? Keeping him on the bench or shuttling him between levels does little to answer the question of what he can truly become. At the same time, committing to him as an everyday option would require patience that a win-now team rarely has. This is where timing becomes everything. Freeland could thrive in an environment where expectations are lower and opportunities are more consistent. In Los Angeles, every at-bat is magnified, and every slump feels heavier. That pressure cooker can accelerate growth for some players, but for others, it stalls progress. The front office has to decide whether his development curve aligns with the current championship window or whether his best contribution to the organization comes through a trade that brings immediate help elsewhere. What ties all of these situations together is the Dodgers' constant pursuit of balance. They're not looking to overhaul the roster or make flashy moves for the sake of headlines. Every decision is weighed against depth, chemistry, and the ability to withstand the inevitable challenges of a long season. Some players offer certainty, others offer upside, and a few sit uncomfortably in between, forcing difficult choices. As spring training approaches, these conversations will only intensify. Roster spots will tighten, competition will sharpen, and clarity will slowly emerge. The players discussed here represent different stages of that process, from established contributors to developing talents still searching for their place. How the Dodgers navigate these decisions will shape not only the early months of the season, but also the identity of the team once the games truly start to matter. There is also an emotional layer to these roster decisions that often goes unnoticed. Fans grow attached to players not just because of numbers, but because of moments, resilience, and how they respond under pressure. The Dodgers understand that chemistry inside the clubhouse matters, especially for a team with championship expectations. Moving a player is not just about replacing production on paper, it is about how that absence or arrival shifts the dynamic of the group over 162 games. Another factor quietly shaping these discussions is roster flexibility once the season begins. Injuries are inevitable, slumps happen, and the ability to adapt without scrambling is a luxury only well-constructed teams possess. Keeping players who can fill multiple roles, even if they're not stars, provide the safety net that allows the coaching staff to manage workloads and matchups more intelligently. That depth often reveals its true value in the middle months of the season, when fatigue starts to affect performance across the league. At the same time, the Dodgers are always conscious of asset management. Prospects and young players hold their highest value before their limitations are fully exposed at the major league level. Waiting too long can turn a valuable trade piece into a marginal one, while acting too quickly risks selling short on future upside. Navigating that balance requires confidence in internal evaluations and a clear understanding of where the team believes it can improve immediately. But before we move forward, don't forget to join our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep delivering the latest news about the Los Angeles Dodgers. We'd love to hear your thoughts on the news, so drop a comment below. Whispers are swirling around Dodger Stadium after a surprising move by manager Dave Roberts that has caught fans and insiders alike off guard. According to sources close to the team, Roberts has made the controversial decision to sideline a key starter, citing the player's failure to show up in proper shape for the season's presentation. The move has sparked a storm of speculation about the locker room dynamics and the message Roberts is sending to his roster. For a team that has prided itself on discipline and professionalism under Roberts' tenure, the decision is seen as a bold statement. Analysts are already debating whether this is a one-off disciplinary action or the beginning of a larger shakeup within the lineup. The Dodgers front office has reportedly backed Roberts' authority, emphasizing that performance standards extend beyond the diamond and into how players present themselves to the organization. Fans, meanwhile, are split. Some praise Roberts for taking a hard line, arguing that letting even one player slide could set a dangerous precedent. Others worry about the impact on team chemistry, especially if the sideline starter is a central figure in the pitching rotation or lineup. Speculation is mounting about who could fill the gap and whether this move signals a longer-term strategic adjustment, or if it's purely disciplinary. Insiders suggest that the Dodgers' clubhouse atmosphere has been tense leading up to this decision, with whispers of internal debates over preparation, conditioning, and accountability. Roberts, known for his measured but firm approach, appears determined to ensure that no player's attitude undermines the team's collective goals. Some sources hint at potential ripple effects, with younger players reportedly taking the incident as a cautionary tale about maintaining peak readiness and commitment at all times. Meanwhile, the media frenzy continues. Rumors are circulating that scouts and rival teams are watching closely, eager to see if this move could influence the Dodgers' performance in upcoming games. The sideline players' reaction remains under wraps, fueling further speculation about possible tensions or even trade rumors. Whatever the outcome, one thing is clear. Under Roberts, standards are non-negotiable, and the Dodgers are sending a message that professionalism comes first, no matter a player's status or star power. As the season progresses, all eyes will be on how this bold move plays out, both on the field and in the locker room, as the Dodgers navigate a high-stakes campaign under the watchful eye of a manager who clearly refuses to compromise. That's all for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay up to date with exclusive news about the Los Angeles Dodgers, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We always appreciate your comments and feedback. See you in the next video.